up, everyone? I'm the one, the only comic outlaw. Yes, yes, and we're doing a review today. We're hitting you with a little something something. One of my favorite wrestlers. You call him a king of hardcore. Now, some remember him as Cactus Jack. Others remember him as Mankind, Do Love, whatever you want to call it, a Foley. By any other name will whoop your ass just as quick. Check it out, Mick Foley, greatest hits and misses. This is one of a few DVDs they made. The difference on this one is Foley actually went through, picked a lot of these matches himself. He gives interesting narrations. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of good things. It covers his career in WCW too and ECW. Now, when I first heard of Cactus Jack, and it was Cactus Jack, back in the day, we actually used to watch WCW. I hate when people get condescending like that. Yes, it had production issues, it had problems. Yes, the booking was a problem too. But as a kid, I used to watch WWE, and that's kind of, now as I gotten older and I've seen what the matches were and how they played out and how certain things were very cartoony. But you have to understand, I was a little kid at the time, so you have to take that with a grain of salt when you watch some of your older stuff from the 80s, like the rock and roll kind of era of Hogan and stuff like that. So my relatives would watch other wrestling, so that was WCW, where you had Dusty Rhodes and Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, the Horsemen, Z-Man, the Hollywood Blondes, Larry Zbyszko, Doom, Harlem Heat, the Steiner Brothers. And yes, they did go back and forth. They bounced in between WCW and WWF. I'm aware of that. Sting never did, but did afterwards, after the company fell. So it wasn't common, but a lot of those wrestlers had a home in WCW. So that's how I heard of Cactus Jack. And as a kid, you just wondered who this wild man was, who would just get up from every injury, who just seemed unstoppable, but didn't look like a muscle-bound person. He looked like a guy in a bar that would just rip your ear off. And that was the appeal about Cactus. Now later on, I found out about his deathmatch experience, and he disappeared for a while off camera because we had problems getting ECW, because back in the day it wasn't as available as it is now. So a show would pop up here and he'd pop up there. Later on, I did watch the footage. They did cover some of it in here, and I have other DVDs as well, and I have seen the network. So it covers like his ECW run, and it's fascinating that Mick, even back then, even in WCW, wasn't afraid to take chances with his character. Namely his feud match with Vader, and in ECW, where he went anti-hardcore. Yes, this hardcore king went anti-hardcore. And it started with some idiot putting a sign saying Kane his son Dewey, which was just malicious and messed up. Yeah, that's a bite my burrito if I've ever seen one. Messed up to do. So he uses that and turns like anti-hardcore, starts wearing a suit and starts, cleaning up his fighting and stuff like that, and it just made great heat. And I love that Foley was able to take chances with his character. And I know this younger group doesn't know what I'm talking about, because you're used to Commissioner Foley or the lovable Mick that comes out and just sits there and gives his thumbs up while the Fiend just has his way with him. There was a time, oh, there was a time where he would have gave the Fiend a run for his money. Cactus had his own playhouse. It was filled with barbed wire, bats, thumbtacks, and explosives. All the good things in life that make wrestling was wrestling. Yes, but this is a wonderful DVD. This has one of my favorite interviews with him and Randy Orton. I think it was in 2003 Backlash. It was a promo that he did. Absolutely wonderful. That promo is worth the price of admission alone for this DVD. But let's open her up, as I usually do. Let you guys check it out. It's a 3-disc set, and it's actually really worth it. There's also a bonus one. It's where you find the promo, a couple other stuff. You know, it's just him explaining different stories, different things, some of his other matches that he decided to include. Really cool stuff. Of course, it comes with a book. Open this up right now. Check it out. Same as the front. Like I said, one of my favorite matches was Cactus Jack and Big Vader. Those who do not know who Vader was, I suggest looking him up on the network and just checking him out. His WWE or his WWE run, his WCW, he was a monster, and him and Cactus worked so well together. Of course, some of ECW, him versus Sabu, Sandman. You know, I do like this match with Terry Funk, Raven, and Tommy Dreamer, and of course Cactus, because these are just some of my favorites. I mean, Foley is the king of hardcore, but the king before him was definitely Terry Funk, and that man has retired more times than Triple H, Hogan, and Ric Flair have had championships. Yeah, add that up. Let's see. Of course, Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck. Now, I want to take a minute, because I loved this tag team of Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck, because he was kind of a wuss, you know. He'd always get his butt kicked. And then there was Cactus, you know, loves pain, you know, exciting. Come on, Mikey, we're going to kick some butt. Mikey'd be like, no, I don't. It was a great dynamic. It was really cool. Paulie gave, if you could do a promo, Paulie gave you the freedom to do it. Gave you the freedom to run with it. That was one of the good things about ECW. Some people aren't getting paid. Not good. Alright, moving on. Of course, he talks about the introduction of Mankind. I actually like Mankind. I was surprised when I was a kid because he was one of the few people that could get a victory over the dead man, The Undertaker, which made him sort of supernatural as well when he first came out. He was good at making people, giving them that bump that they needed to take that elevation. How can I put this? Some wrestlers very just can. They were good at certain things, but they need that hardcore credibility, such as Shawn Michaels when he had his match with Mick, or Mankind at this time. I keep switching over. I mean, I know him as Mick. The man's a wonderful writer. I highly recommend his books too. I've had the pleasure of reading two. Him and Shawn Michaels have a great match. It's at Mind Games. I think it was 96. I remember seeing this on pay-per-view. This was awesome, and I'm not a big Shawn Michaels fan. If you've seen my Funko video on him, I talk a lot of smack about him. But this was a great match. You can't deny Michaels was one of the greats, even though he was sort of a prick. He always had classic matches. Another person that had classic matches, and Mick kind of gave the bump to for him to become more hardcore, was Triple H. And this is the time where WWE introduced Cactus Jack back into the fold, as well as Dude Love, and he was doing the Three Faces of Foley. So he was switching back and forth from character to character to character, which that did kind of get a little redundant, but he did do a good job in playing it really well. Each character was different, unique, and this fight that they had is unique because it had all three personalities talking in the vignette before he came out. It was very cool, very awesome. This time Terry Funk also came back for a short run as Chainsaw Charlie. Let's see, of course, we got to talk about the Rock and Sock connection. The Rock had some great matches with Mick Foley too. You see, Mick Foley always said that he was more like a supporting actor, and I guess you can see that in a way. He always built these characters up. He was a gatekeeper. Of course, he won championships. He won his share of titles. He was a heavyweight champion. Of course, that famous time where Tony Schiavone gave away that Foley was going to win, put butts in the seats. Well, it definitely did for WWE because everyone switched over to it. And that just goes to show the love for Mick Foley. And if you listen to that promo that I've been talking about, you'll understand what he was saying about his love for hardcore. That being hardcore isn't about just baseball bats or razor wire, cookie sheets or garbage cans. It's about having a love for the business. A love that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I can understand that. So, Cactus, I appreciate you, buddy. And yes, he did get sillier. He did do the Socko thing. I mentioned the Rock and Sock connection. He became a little more sillier as he went on, but damn it, he earned it. He earned it with his blood, sweat, tears, broken teeth, broken bones, shattered body. The Hell in the Cell match that I just did not mention until now because that's the first thing everyone talks about. So yeah, he did lean towards comedy a little bit more. His commissioner run when he was commissioner the first time, like way back in the day, not, recently, was awesome. His work with Edge and Christian at that time, great. With Kurt Angle, priceless. And it just showed that Mick Foley can do so much. He's done a few shows here and there with his daughter. They had a reality show. He's a great writer. He's written children's books. And I hear he's actually a pretty damn nice man to meet. Big fan of Christmas. And if you want to see some good matches, you want to see someone lay it out in the line, you want to see a man that really has a love for the business, I recommend this. Greatest hits and misses. Right here. Gives you a nice little personal look at Mick Foley, the person, and his ideas of his career, and some of his favorite parts. And you can see the smile on his face as he's reminiscing. I left out a lot of different stuff in here because they jam-packed a lot of things. I just glossed over some of my favorites. I mean, there's even stuff with Sting. WCW. So, highly worth watching it. And that's just about it. I highly recommend this DVD. It's one of my favorites of all time. Mick Foley, a.k.a. Cactus Jack, a.k.a. Mankind, a.k.a. Dude Love, a.k.a. Hardcore King. And I'm the Comic Outlaw. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.